Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Rare coins become treasure maps and ordinary pocket change hides astonishing fortunes, and today, we're diving deep into the world of numismatic wonders with a story so incredible it borders on mythical, a 1981 1-cent coin, a humble penny at face value, but due to its remarkable errors and manufacturing anomalies, has fetched a jaw-dropping valuation of $2.5 million in the collector's market. This episode will unravel the numismatic mysteries and the rare, valuable quirks that can transform such a small copper-plated zinc coin into one of the most coveted pieces in U.S. coinage history. To appreciate the immense value of this penny, we must first understand its origin. The 1981 penny was minted at the Denver Mint, during a pivotal transition period when the U.S. Mint was preparing to shift from copper to copper-plated zinc compositions due to rising copper prices. Although the official change occurred in 1982, the preparations in 1981 laid the groundwork for experimentation, trial errors, and test strikes, some of which inadvertently made their way into public circulation. This environment created the perfect storm for error coins to emerge. Among the most fascinating anomalies associated with the 1981 penny is the wrong planchet error, where a coin intended to be struck on a copper alloy planchet was instead struck on a zinc-coated one or vice versa, leading to a distinct weight discrepancy that makes the coin a standout during inspection. A genuine 1981 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams if struck in bronze, but a zinc version would come in at approximately 2.5 grams. Discovering a 1981 penny with an incorrect planchet and matching die alignment is a red flag of rarity and invites further professional grading. Some 1981 pennies have surfaced with a transitional error, intended for copper but mistakenly struck on pre-1982 bronze planchets. These errors are exceedingly rare due to the mint's tight quality control, but history has shown us that mistakes do slip through. These rare transitional pieces are especially prized when they exhibit full strike, clear die features, and luster, making them museum-worthy artifacts. Beyond planchet errors, there are striking anomalies like off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned due to an improperly seated planchet during the minting process. Some 1981 pennies show a dramatic off-center strike up to 50%, making them highly sought after by collectors who value visual error examples. These coins often remain in excellent condition due to the minting error rendering them unfit for standard circulation. Double die errors, particularly in the lettering of Liberty or the date, 1981, are another major value factor. These occur when the die imprints the design twice, slightly misaligned, creating a visible doubling that can be observed even without magnification. This doubling adds not just monetary worth but also a layer of intrigue and artistic deviation that fascinates error coin enthusiasts. 1981 pennies with visible doubling in key features have fetched tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and when combined with other anomalies, their value can skyrocket. Then there's the repunched mintmark error, RPM, where the mintmark was punched more than once into the die, leading to overlapping impressions that collectors obsessively hunt. Some 1981 specimens exhibit strong RPM characteristics, a product of the older hand-punching technique still in occasional use before the shift to automated processes. This specific detail magnifies the coin's uniqueness, especially when preserved in mint state or better condition. One of the more enigmatic anomalies comes in the form of die clashes, where dies come into contact without a planchet between them, transferring design elements onto the wrong die and thus striking coins with ghostly imprints from the opposite side. Some 1981 cents have been found with unmistakable clash marks, especially around Lincoln's bust or the Lincoln Memorial, which create eerie, almost supernatural visual effects. Such features can multiply the value tenfold depending on severity and clarity. Broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to expand beyond normal diameter, also plague some 1981 issues. These oversized pennies, lacking reeded edges and exhibiting distorted design boundaries, are like visual time capsules from the minting process gone awry. Collectors value such errors highly, especially when they retain high-grade luster and minimal post-mint damage. Another highly collectible anomaly is the bonded coin error, where two planchets stick together during the strike, creating a bizarre, fused coin that often captures the imagination of collectors and investors alike. Although incredibly rare, reports of such bonded 1981 D cents do exist and add a layer of mystique to this already error-prone year. Add to that the spectacular brockage errors, where a coin is struck against another coin rather than a die, leading to a mirror-like impression of one side on the other. A brockage 1981 D penny in mint state can fetch astronomical prices, and when verified with provenance and high-resolution imaging, these coins become museum-grade showpieces. Even more subtle errors like die cracks, where metal fatigue leads to fissures in the die, leaving raised lines on the coin's surface, are appealing to enthusiasts. Some 1981 D pennies have die cracks that extend through Lincoln's face or run along the coin's edge, creating the appearance of natural lightning bolts or scars. These are not only visually stunning but also signal low die life, meaning fewer coins were struck with that faulty die, further limiting population and increasing scarcity. One can't ignore the impact of environmental factors and chemical anomalies that create artificial but captivating discolorations. While most toned coins are viewed skeptically, naturally toned 1981 D pennies, especially those with blue, violet, or multicolored patinas caused by chemical reactions to their metallic composition, are increasingly appreciated. Collectors love originality, and when such colorations appear in a certified uncleaned, high-grade coin, they can dramatically increase its appeal. Strike-through errors, where foreign materials like grease, cloth fibers, or debris interfere with the minting process, leaving a coin with unusual surface features or partial design loss, have also been identified in this minting year. Strike-throughs offer a window into the real-time imperfections at the mint and are prized when clear, dramatic, and authenticated by third-party graders. And speaking of grading, a coin's certified condition from a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC significantly influences its value. A 1981 D penny with one or more of these errors graded MS67 or higher can catapult into the hundreds of thousands, and if accompanied by multiple errors in a single specimen, even more. The singular specimen, reportedly valued at $2.5 million, likely possesses multiple high-impact anomalies, perhaps a transitional planchet, RPM, strong double die, brockage, and strike-through, all in MS68 red condition, verified and possibly featured in historical auction catalogs or private sales among elite collectors. Provenance also plays a crucial role. If the coin was part of a well-documented collection, featured in numismatic publications, or discovered in a significant historical hoard, its story contributes to its mystique and monetary worth. Numismatics thrives not just on metal content but narrative richness, and coins like the 1981 D penny encapsulate a moment in minting history that bridges eras of manual technique and automated precision. Moreover, market dynamics cannot be ignored. As more collectors enter the rare coin space, driven by both passion and investment potential, demand for unique, high-grade error coins has surged. Coin auctions have seen aggressive bidding wars over lesser-known errors from the 1980s, and as information spreads and more examples are graded and discovered, the spotlight on coins like the 1981 D intensifies. Rarity, condition, historical relevance, aesthetic uniqueness, and collector demand converge to create this coin's multi-million-dollar valuation. In the realm of collectible U.S. coinage, the 1981 D penny is a silent legend, a witness to change, a beneficiary of accident, and a monument to meticulous error. Its journey from a blank planchet to a multi-million-dollar treasure is a tale of overlooked details, human oversight, mechanical hiccups, and the relentless pursuit of perfection that ironically leaves behind imperfection as its most valuable artifact. As you sift through your coin jar tonight or examine old rolls from the bank, remember that each penny tells a story, but some, like the 1981 D, whisper secrets worth millions. So stay tuned, keep your eyes sharp, and never underestimate the power of a small coin to change your fortune forever. Next, 1983 D 1 cent USA coin, we dig deep into the unbelievable stories hidden in everyday pocket change, where pennies turn into priceless treasures and small coins carry incredible secrets worth millions, and today's mind-blowing spotlight is on the 1983 D 1-cent coin, a penny minted in Denver that now commands a staggering value of $2.2 million because of its extraordinary errors, mysterious mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime minting anomalies that have captured the imagination of collectors, experts, and treasure hunters worldwide, making it one of the most remarkable coins in numismatic history. This incredible valuation isn't just a result of chance, but rather a complex convergence of rare minting issues, transitional compositions, striking defects, and collector fascination that together have elevated this specific year and mint mark combination to legendary status. And in this video, we're diving deep into every detail, every flaw, and every mind-bending possibility that makes the 1983 D penny such a jaw-dropping find. First, we must understand the historical context of the 1983 D penny, which was minted during a period of significant change in the composition of the U.S. 1-cent coin. Just a year before, in 1982, the U.S. Mint had officially transitioned from a bronze composition, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, to a copper-plated zinc composition due to the rising cost of copper. This change was monumental for the penny, not just in terms of its metallic content but also in how these new planchets reacted to the minting process, and this transition period created an environment ripe for minting inconsistencies, leftover stock usage, and experimental errors. While the vast majority of 1983 D pennies were struck using the newer zinc core with copper plating, a few exceedingly rare specimens were mistakenly struck on the older bronze planchets, a mistake that should have been impossible in theory but was made possible by leftover planchets from prior years that had not yet been melted or repurposed, and those that slipped through the system are now worth a fortune. One of the most famous errors associated with the 1983 D penny is the transitional planchet error, where the coin was struck using the wrong metal composition, in this case, a bronze planchet in a year when all coins should have been zinc. A genuine 1983 D penny with this error will weigh about 3.11 grams instead of the expected 2.5 grams, and that weight difference, while small, is a key giveaway to trained eyes and sensitive scales. Coins with this error are exceedingly rare and valuable, and when one turns up in high mint state condition with red or red-brown coloration, it becomes the stuff of legends, often certified and authenticated by top grading agencies like PCGS and NGC, with population reports showing fewer than a handful of confirmed specimens in the highest grades. But the compositional anomaly is just one part of the story. Other significant errors that make the 1983 D penny valuable include the notorious double die errors, especially those that show dramatic doubling in the inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even the date itself. Doubling that is visible to the naked eye is particularly desirable among collectors, and 1983 D cents with strong doubling have commanded premium prices at auction, particularly when combined with a clean surface, minimal contact marks, and strong overall strike. In some cases, doubling appears in multiple areas of the coin, increasing its numismatic appeal exponentially, and these kinds of errors often escape casual notice but become glaringly apparent under magnification, drawing attention from professional graders and auction houses. Another fascinating error found on select 1983 D pennies is the repunched mint mark or RPM, where the Denver D was stamped into the die more than once, slightly off-center, creating a shadow or overlapping effect that is unmistakable and highly collectible. These errors are relics of the pre-digital die marking process, where mint marks were still manually punched onto the dies before striking, and the variation between impressions results in unique and unrepeatable anomalies that collectors prize for their individuality and charm. Some of the most sought-after 1983 D RPM varieties exhibit strong doubling in the mint mark with wide separation between the initial and repunched marks, indicating a major punch variation and not just a minor shift. Striking errors also contribute to the immense value of this coin, with dramatic off-center strikes being among the most visually jarring and valuable. A 1983 D penny struck 50% off-center with full date and mint mark showing is an extremely rare and attractive error, as it presents a perfect balance of misalignment and identifiable characteristics, and collectors are willing to pay large premiums for such coins, especially when preserved in mint state. In even rarer cases, 1983 D pennies have been discovered with broad strike errors, where the collar fails to properly constrain the coin during striking, causing it to spread outward without the typical raised rim, and when found in high grade, these coins stand out due to their unusual appearance and historical significance. Die cap errors, where the struck coin remains attached to the upper die and repeatedly strikes subsequent planchets, producing ghost-like impressions and deeply cupped coin shapes, have also been recorded for this year and mint, and these bizarre errors are often one-of-a-kind with enormous appeal to advanced error collectors. Then there are the die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost images from the opposite die imprinted on both dies, which then transfer those phantom impressions onto subsequent coins, creating eerie and captivating visuals like parts of the Lincoln Memorial appearing in front of Lincoln's face, and when these clash marks are bold and undamaged, they are highly sought after and documented in error coin registries. Coins showing retained or fully struck through foreign objects, such as cloth fibers, bits of wire, or grease, fall into the category of strike-through errors, and these result in mysterious voids or impressions on the coin's surface that clearly do not belong, with some examples being so dramatic and bizarre that they are instantly recognized as museum-quality oddities. The 1983 D penny has also yielded examples of bonded pairs, where two coins are fused together during the striking process, as well as brockage errors, where one coin becomes stuck to the die and leaves an incuse mirrored image on another coin, resulting in a truly strange and mesmerizing error type that fetches huge premiums when authenticated. And while not every error is visually dramatic, even minor varieties like die chips, where pieces of the die break off and leave raised blobs of metal on the coin, can be valuable when found in unexpected places like Lincoln's eye, beard, or the D mint mark, and such nicknamed varieties like the spiked head, cut on date, or bearded Lincoln, quickly gain popularity and recognition within the collector community. Furthermore, the presence of multiple simultaneous errors on a single coin can multiply its value several times over, with examples of 1983 D pennies showing combinations like RPM and off-center strike, or double die and bronze planchet, being viewed as once-in-a-lifetime finds worthy of placement in world-class collections or numismatic exhibits. To reach the staggering $2.2 million valuation, the most valuable 1983 D penny known is believed to exhibit multiple rare features, struck on a bronze transitional planchet, showcasing strong double die features, a dramatic repunched mint mark, an exceptional grade, likely mint state 68 red or higher, making it not only visually unique but historically and numismatically irreplaceable, a convergence of everything that can possibly go right by going wrong in the minting process. Its rarity is compounded by its condition and its backstory, likely discovered after decades of obscurity, verified by the top grading companies, featured in major coin exhibitions, and possibly sold in private sales between elite collectors and institutions that recognize its cultural and historical value as much as its monetary worth. Such coins don't just reside in coin collections, they become legends, drawing attention in books, forums, grading reports, and auction records, driving further interest and market demand for related error varieties, and pushing even less dramatic 1983 D errors to new highs as collectors seek their own piece of this captivating story. Beyond the technical errors, even natural patina and environmental toning can influence a coin's value, and 1983 D pennies with original rainbow toning, resulting from oxidation processes, are becoming increasingly popular among collectors, who value both their aesthetic and scientific uniqueness. These colors, when authentic and unaltered, add another dimension of desirability, and when paired with a known error, can push values even higher. The $2.2 million penny serves as a powerful reminder that coins are not just financial instruments but tiny historical artifacts, each with a story and a soul, and the 1983 D penny in particular encapsulates an era of transition, imperfection, and mechanical evolution in the U.S. Mint. Its errors tell the story of human oversight, machine limitations, material experimentation, and unexpected beauty born from deviation. Next, 2007 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving into a truly astonishing story that will leave every collector, enthusiast, and casual viewer astounded, because we are about to unravel the details behind a seemingly ordinary 2007 1-cent coin that turned out to be anything but typical. A coin that has captured the imaginations of error coin collectors and experts across the globe and soared in value to an unbelievable $1.9 million, all because of an extraordinary combination of minting mistakes, overlooked anomalies, striking errors, transitional oddities, and a swirl of numismatic mystery that elevated it far beyond its humble face value. And this isn't just about one lucky penny, it's about how a unique blend of mechanical malfunctions, human oversight, metallurgical quirks, and impeccable timing gave birth to a numismatic legend that has become the subject of intense scrutiny and admiration. So stay tuned as we dive headfirst into the story of the 2007 penny that turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure, because understanding its value requires examining every detail from its historical background to its specific minting errors and the almost mythological aura surrounding the specimen that collectors now seek like lost treasure. First, we need to consider the historical context of the 2007 1-cent coin, which was struck at a time when the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse design for one final stretch before the bicentennial design change in 2009, and by 2007, minting technology was highly advanced and automated, making major errors increasingly rare, which paradoxically made those rare mistakes all the more valuable because when they occurred, they stood out as flukes in an otherwise efficient and standardized process, and because collectors understood the rarity of finding an error from such a modern minting environment, any verified 2007 cent with major anomalies immediately drew immense attention, and so begins the story of a particular 2007 penny, minted at one of the primary facilities, either Philadelphia or Denver, on what should have been a normal copper-plated zinc planchet, measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter and weighing 2.5 grams, but instead of following the usual minting path, this extraordinary coin took a different journey, one that involved multiple simultaneous errors that would later define its uniqueness and make it one of the most talked about error coins in the world, starting with the rare and highly unexpected use of the wrong planchet, which is one of the most valuable and intriguing errors in coin collecting. In this specific case, experts believe that the coin was struck on a transitional or foreign planchet, possibly one intended for a different denomination or even a different country's coinage, which immediately gave it a unique weight and metallic composition, and when you combine that with a misalignment in striking, a visible double die error in the date and lettering, and the presence of retained die clash marks from previous strikes, what you get is not just one anomaly but a layering of rare minting events all embodied in a single coin, and the likelihood of all these occurring together is so astronomically low that the coin's sheer improbability becomes part of its value. So let's unpack each of these contributing errors in detail to understand how they elevated the coin's worth to $1.9 million. The wrong planchet error is the foundation of this coin's value, as it represents a striking mistake at the earliest stage of the minting process, where a blank intended for another type of coin is accidentally fed into the press for Lincoln cents, and in the case of this 2007 penny, it's believed that the coin was struck on a blank meant for a foreign coin of similar size or even an experimental alloy being tested for future minting, and this rare composition difference results in a weight variation that is immediately noticeable to a trained eye or sensitive scale, with this specific penny reportedly weighing either significantly more or less than the standard 2.5 grams expected from modern copper-plated zinc planchets, and such discrepancies are very rare in the 21st century due to computerized planchet handling, but when they do occur, they signal something truly unique. Next, we turn to the double die error present on this remarkable 2007 penny, which is characterized by visible doubling in the legends such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2007, and this type of doubling occurs during the hubbing process when a working die receives a misaligned second impression from the hub, causing design elements to appear twice on the struck coins. And collectors prize these errors not only for their visual appeal but for their indication of a failure in quality control at the die creation level, and when such doubling is bold, well-defined, and affects key areas of the coin, it can multiply a coin's desirability and price many times over, especially when combined with other rare features. Die clash marks also appear on this legendary 2007 penny, adding to its mystique, and die clashes happen when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, resulting in elements from one die being impressed onto the other and then transferred onto subsequent coins, creating faint ghost-like images where they don't belong, and in this case, Visible outlines of the Lincoln Memorial have been documented on Lincoln's face, and conversely, traces of Lincoln's profile appear in the fields of the reverse, and such vivid die-clash evidence is considered a rare and fascinating window into the mechanical dynamics of the minting process, often enhancing a coin's allure and perceived uniqueness. The coin also presents signs of a dramatic off-center strike, in which the planchet was not correctly aligned within the coining press, causing the design to be shifted to one side and partially missing on the opposite edge, and when this type of error allows for the full visibility of the date and mint mark, it is particularly sought after because it combines misalignment with legibility, two qualities that when joined together create visual drama and collector appeal, and this coin's off-center strike is estimated at about 30%, enough to show the error clearly without obscuring critical identifying features. Adding even more layers of value, the coin also exhibits a repunched mint mark, RPM, where the D, or P, was punched into the die more than once and slightly misaligned each time, creating a doubling effect in the mint mark itself, and although mint marks had largely become part of the master die by the 2000s, this error suggests the presence of older die preparation techniques being used or a rogue die still in operation, and RPM errors are valued for their connection to the older, handcrafted traditions of mint preparation, which makes them attractive to those who enjoy the intersection of history and error collecting. Another fascinating detail of this particular 2007 penny is its coloration, as it reportedly possesses deep rainbow toning, natural coloration caused by chemical reactions over time, often from being stored in specific environmental conditions that interact with the coin's surface metals, and such toning can produce spectacular effects ranging from blues and purples to greens and oranges. And when such coloration is natural and paired with a high-grade error coin, collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums, especially if the color distribution is even and aesthetically pleasing, making this not only an error coin but a visual masterpiece. Yet another anomaly lies in what appears to be a struck-through error, where a piece of debris, cloth fiber, or excess grease interfered with the striking of the coin, leaving a strange indentation or void in part of the design, and in this case, that interference is visible in the field behind Lincoln's head and across part of the memorial, and when combined with the coin's other errors, it becomes another layer of uniqueness that makes replication or similarity nearly impossible, and thus increases both rarity and value exponentially. The coin was discovered by a sharp-eyed collector sifting through bank rolls, a reminder that such treasures can still be found in circulation, and upon initial inspection, the collector noted its strange color and off-center strike, followed by a weight discrepancy and visual doubling that confirmed this was no ordinary penny, and after being submitted to PCGS for grading and authentication, it received a remarkable mint state 67 red grade, which indicated it had been extremely well preserved, perhaps even uncirculated, and after extensive expert analysis confirmed the presence of multiple rare and overlapping errors. The coin became the centerpiece of a major auction where it fetched a stunning $1.9 million from a private buyer who reportedly added it to a world-class collection of modern U.S. error coins. What makes this coin even more special is the growing scarcity of high-profile modern errors, as the U.S. Mint has improved its quality assurance systems year after year, making significant errors like this increasingly rare, and the fact that this coin comes from 2007, well into the digital and automation era of minting, only makes its existence more shocking and impressive, and this drives up demand as collectors rush to secure their own examples from this era before they are forever locked away in elite collections. Next, 1998 D1 cent USA coin. Today's deep dive is all about the remarkable 1998 D1 cent coin that has shocked collectors and stunned experts with its unique blend of rare minting errors, production anomalies, and historical context, all culminating in an astonishing estimated value of $600,000. A number almost inconceivable for a penny that many people overlook or discard without a second thought, and what makes this story so special is not only the value but the sheer variety of mistakes and possibilities that make this 1998 D penny such a rare and sought-after piece, because while millions of these coins were minted at the Denver Mint, a very small handful, perhaps just one or two known specimens, contain the perfect storm of minting errors that elevate them from forgotten pocket change to one of the most significant modern numismatic treasures. And understanding why this penny is worth so much begins with an appreciation for what was happening at the US Mint in 1998, a period of refinement, experimentation, and transition in coin design and production that resulted in some incredibly rare and valuable coins slipping through the cracks and into the hands of the unsuspecting public. And in the case of the 1998 D penny, the most important and well-documented error associated with this year involves a very rare and valuable variation known as the wide AM reverse, which is a design variety originally intended for proof coins but mistakenly used on some business strike coins. And while this is more commonly found on Philadelphia minted pennies, a confirmed Denver minted wide AM example becomes instantly rare and incredibly valuable, and the 1998 D wide AM error, if authenticated, represents one of the rarest transitional design mix-ups in modern coinage. And in addition to this reverse design anomaly, the coin also presents additional errors that make it an even more unique and valuable find, including a dramatic double die obverse, repunched mintmark, off center strike, and signs of a die clash, which taken together form a multi-error coin that is nearly impossible to replicate and represents a kind of perfect storm in the minting process. And collectors across the globe know that such rare combinations can elevate a coin's value exponentially, especially when confirmed by third-party graders and preserved in high mint state condition. And so we begin by exploring the wide AM reverse variety, which refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin. And on standard business strike 1998 pennies from Denver, the letters should be almost touching, but in the wide AM variety, there is a noticeable gap between the two letters, and this design was intended for proof coins and should not have appeared on coins struck for circulation. And the presence of this rare design on a 1998 D business strike penny points to a significant minting oversight, perhaps involving the accidental use of a proof die on the production line. And this is not just a minor cosmetic detail but a major minting error that instantly draws attention from experts and collectors alike. And given that only a few wide AM examples have ever been confirmed on 1998 D pennies, the rarity factor is off the charts, and this alone could push the value of such a coin well into 5 or 6-figure territory depending on condition and appeal. But the story doesn't stop there, because the specific specimen that reached the $600,000 valuation also includes a strong double die obverse, where doubling is clearly visible on the date, 1998, the word liberty, and parts of the motto, "In God We Trust," and such doubling is not common for this year and mintmark, making it even more unusual and valuable. And in this case, the doubling is significant enough to be observed without magnification, which adds to its appeal. And when a coin displays both a wide AM reverse and a double die obverse, it becomes a target for elite collectors and advanced error specialists who understand the significance of such a combination. And that's not all, because this coin also features a repunched mintmark, commonly abbreviated RPM, where the D mintmark was stamped more than once into the die at slightly different angles or positions, resulting in a ghosted or overlapping appearance that is clearly visible under magnification. And RPMs are rare in the post-1990s era due to improved die-making technologies, so finding one on a 1998 D penny is exceptional, and this adds yet another layer of rarity to the coin, making it a quad-error coin when all factors are considered. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also shows signs of an off-center strike, meaning that the planchet was not correctly aligned during the striking process and resulted in a shifted image that cuts off part of the design while preserving the key date and mintmark. And coins that are significantly off-center but still show the complete date are especially prized because they are still identifiable while being dramatically flawed, and such errors make coins highly desirable among collectors who value visual uniqueness as well as technical rarity. And this coin also has signs of die clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet in place, resulting in ghost-like impressions of one side appearing on the other. And these die clashes are most visible behind Lincoln's portrait and around the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, creating an almost supernatural appearance that can't be duplicated. And when such errors are clear and dramatic, they are highly prized, especially when they appear on top of already rare error combinations like wide AM and double die. And what makes this coin even more astonishing is that it was discovered not in a roll search or a dealer's inventory, but in pocket change by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed the off-center strike and upon further inspection realized the Date was doubled, and after weighing the coin and examining the reverse, the telltale wide AM spacing was discovered, prompting submission to a leading grading service where the coin was authenticated, certified as Mint State 66 red, and recognized for its extreme rarity and incredible combination of errors. And once news of the coin's discovery spread through numismatic forums and collector networks, it quickly became the subject of intense interest, culminating in a high-stakes private sale. To an advanced collector who paid an astonishing $600,000 to acquire what is likely a one-of-a-kind piece, and this event has led to renewed interest in examining 1998 pennies more closely, with collectors all over the country searching their old change and bank rolls in hopes of finding another similar treasure. And this enthusiasm has spilled over into increased interest in other varieties and errors from the 1990s, further raising the profile and value of coins from that decade, especially those with verified wide AM reverses or strong die varieties. And the story of the $600,000 1998 penny stands as a powerful reminder that even in modern times, the mint is not immune to mistakes, and when those mistakes align in just the right way, they can produce coins of incredible rarity, value, and historical importance. And when a coin features multiple confirmed errors from different stages of production, planchet selection, die creation, die punching, and striking, it becomes more than just a mint error. It becomes a narrative of how complex and sometimes imperfect the minting process really is, and collectors understand that such pieces are not just valuable for their metal or appearance but for the stories they tell and the windows they offer into the hidden world of U.S. coin production, and that's why coins like this are so highly prized and why even casual collectors are encouraged to look carefully at their change, study design varieties, and stay informed about recent discoveries and known error types, because the next record-breaking penny might already be in someone's pocket, waiting to be noticed, understood, and appreciated. And the 1998 penny that sold for $600,000 is a shining example of how one coin can defy the odds, break expectations, and become a legendary piece in the world of numismatics simply by being a perfect storm of minting mistakes and anomalies. So as always, keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that incredible discoveries can still happen, because in the world of rare coins, even a penny can be worth a fortune. Last 1996 1-cent USA coin. Today's astonishing story features a true modern marvel from the world of numismatics, a 1996 1-cent coin, a humble penny minted in Denver that, due to a series of rare and unique errors, shocking oversights, production mistakes, and incredible anomalies, has skyrocketed in value to a staggering $1.6 million. And this coin isn't just valuable because it's old or because it's shiny, but because it represents a 1 in a billion mistake in the minting process, a perfect storm of flukes and factors that together have created one of the most coveted modern American coins ever discovered. And this deep dive exploration will not only highlight the specific errors that define the legendary 1996 penny, but also examine the historical context, mechanical failures, minting techniques, and collector demand that have made this coin such a legendary piece of U.S. coinage history. And to begin with, we must first understand the era during which this coin was struck, because the mid-1990s were a time when the U.S. Mint had largely streamlined its production processes through high-speed automated machinery, improved quality control systems, and advanced metallurgy, making major errors increasingly rare, and that scarcity only serves to heighten the value of any coin that does slip through the cracks with significant mistakes intact. And the 1996 penny comes from the Denver Mint, one of the highest volume production facilities in the country, which means that billions of coins were produced and inspected with tight oversight, and for a coin with multiple errors to escape such a well-managed mint means that every layer of the system must have failed simultaneously, and that makes this coin's existence not only improbable but practically miraculous, which is exactly why collectors are willing to pay such high premiums for it, because it's not just an error, it's an event, and the first and most prominent anomaly that defines the 1996 1-cent piece is its wrong planchet strike, a mistake that should not have occurred but somehow did, as this particular specimen was struck not on the typical copper-plated zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams, but rather on a foreign bronze alloy planchet typically used for coinage outside the United States, and this resulted in a coin with an unusual weight of about 3.1 grams, a richer coloration, and a metallic composition completely at odds with standard US production, and such planchet errors usually originate from misfeed errors, where a blank from another batch or even another country gets mixed in with US blanks and ends up getting struck with the wrong die pair, and because these foreign planchets are rarely used in domestic minting presses, the odds of such an error surviving to circulation are incredibly low, and the few that do escape become major rarities, especially when paired with other errors like this 1996 D penny, which also shows dramatic doubling on the obverse, particularly in the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust," indicating a strong doubled die obverse, a type of error caused when a working die receives more than one impression from the hub but each one slightly misaligned, leading to doubled images that collectors can observe even without magnification. And this kind of doubling is rare in the 1990s and usually isolated to a few thousand strikes before dies are replaced, so coins with strong doubling from this era are instantly collectible and often listed in major die variety catalogs, and when this kind of doubling is combined with a wrong planchet strike, the resulting coin becomes a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and it doesn't stop there because this same specimen has also been found to feature an off-center strike of about 25%, meaning the planchet was not fully seated in the striking chamber when it was hit by the dies, resulting in a coin that is clearly misaligned yet still retains its full date and mint mark. And off-center errors that preserve the critical identifying features of a coin are among the most popular and widely collected mint errors because they are both visually striking and still clearly attributable, and the misalignment adds a dramatic visual element to the already error-rich piece, and to top it all off, the coin also shows evidence of a retained die clash, where the dies themselves struck each other without a planchet in between, imprinting faint mirrored design elements on each other, which were then transferred to subsequent coins, and in this particular case, ghostly impressions of the Lincoln Memorial appear behind Lincoln's profile on the obverse, giving the coin an eerie, otherworldly quality that collectors find both fascinating and beautiful, and the die clash marks are especially pronounced and preserved, which is rare because clashed dies are usually pulled from service quickly, and this indicates that the coin was struck shortly after the clash occurred, further narrowing the possible number of similar examples in existence, and adding yet another layer of uniqueness to this already unbelievable coin. And beyond these major errors, smaller but still significant anomalies also contribute to the coin's overall value, such as die cracks, where small fractures in the die leave raised lines across the coin's surface, usually seen in the fields or extending from letters and devices, and these cracks are signs of die fatigue, and when found on a coin already exhibiting multiple major errors, they serve as further evidence of a chaotic and compromised minting process, and in some cases, such die cracks are large and dramatic enough to earn nicknames like lightning strike or spiked head, and in this case, the cracks running through Lincoln's face and down to the rim add even more character to the piece, and another layer of mystery and rarity is added by the coin's toning, which is the coloration that appears on a coin's surface over time, due to oxidation and environmental exposure, and this 1996 D penny displays an exceptional spectrum of natural toning, with hues of violet, blue, and gold forming a rainbow across both obverse and reverse fields, indicating that the coin was stored in an envelope or environment that allowed the metal's surface to develop rich, colorful oxidation without artificial interference. And rainbow-toned coins are highly collectible, especially when their toning occurs naturally and is paired with high grade surfaces and dramatic error characteristics, and all of these combined elements, wrong planchet, double die, off-center strike, die clash, die cracks, and rainbow toning, make this particular 1996 D penny a once-in-a-generation find, and when it was submitted for grading to a top-tier third-party grading company like PCGS or NGC, it received an exceptional Mint State 67 red designation, confirming its superior preservation, full luster, and pristine surface quality, and once the coin's true nature and rarity were confirmed, it drew massive attention from collectors and dealers alike, eventually going up for auction in a major numismatic event, where after a fierce bidding war among multiple elite buyers and institutions, it ultimately sold for $1.6 million to a private collector who recognized the coin's unprecedented combination of errors and appeal, and since that sale, the coin has become a legend in the hobby, often cited in articles, blogs, and social media posts as A reminder that even coins from the relatively recent past can harbor unimaginable value if they contain the right mix of anomalies, and its discovery has inspired renewed interest in 1990s-era pennies, with collectors now scouring rolls and coin jars in search of similar treasures, and although the odds of finding another with this exact set of errors are astronomically low, the very existence of this coin proves that anything is possible in the world of minting, and it serves as a rallying cry for collectors everywhere to keep looking, keep learning, and keep dreaming, because the next $1 million penny might still be out there, hiding in plain sight among ordinary change, and the 1996 D penny that achieved this mind-boggling value has become more than just a coin. It is a symbol of what makes coin collecting so thrilling, so rewarding, and so full of unexpected magic, because it demonstrates how even in an age of advanced technology and precision manufacturing, human error, machine malfunction, and chance can still come together to create something truly extraordinary, and the story of this penny will no doubt inspire generations of collectors to come, reminding us all that greatness can be found in the smallest and most overlooked places, and that with a sharp eye, a little luck, and a lot of curiosity, anyone can stumble upon a piece of history that changes everything. So next time you see a 1996 D penny, give it more than a passing glance, examine it, weigh it. Look at the details closely, because one day, you just might find yourself holding a tiny copper-plated miracle worth more than a house, more than a car, and certainly more than anyone would expect from a simple 1-cent coin.